Hello everyone and welcome back. Welcome to another crafty decor adventure. Olivia here with Olivias from me at home, and in today's video I am so excited to share with you guys my top 10 most viral videos for the last couple of months. So I thought this would be such a fun video to do for you guys. On my Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook page, I share several DIY videos a day. So if you're on Facebook, pop over there, like that page, share it. You're going to see short and kind of condensed DIY videos on that page. It's Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook. I also have a free group page over there. You guys can pop over there and join if you want to share photos of your home decor and DIY projects. But I thought I would put together my most viral videos for you guys to kind of binge watch here on YouTube, and that would be just a fun thing to share with you guys. So thank you all for being here. I love you all so much. Without further ado, let's go ahead and plug in those glue guns. Get out your glitter and paint, and let's get to crafty.
Dollar Tree DIY. We're going to take some of those Dollar Tree sunflower plates that I shared with you guys in my last haul. Go check it out if you need some fun summer ideas for how to set a beautiful summer table and what Dollar Tree is carrying. But I am going to take this piece of painter's tape and run it down the center, and then begin to use my Sharpie marker to just draw out lines. So you could do a fun stripe down this plate, which I definitely played with the idea of just doing a stripe, or you could go in a little bit further and do that Mackenzie Childs courtly check look. So that's what I decided to go for. It was a little bit tricky on the edges of the plate, and you could probably skip that part, which if I do more I probably will, and just do the front part like right here where I'm showing you guys. So you're just going to take your painter's tape and mark out those squares. This is super easy, and then you're going to go in with some black paint. Now I did find black glass paint at Michael's, so it's great for painting on glass. I've also used acrylic paint, which works great as well, and I believe the glass paint is also acrylic paint. It's just more for glass, and it's very price friendly. I think it was $2 for a bottle, but again, I use acrylic paint all the time. I just happened to find this at Michael's, and Michael's was actually out of so many of their paints. Comment and let me know if you guys are seeing that in your stores where they're out of so many different crafting supplies. I'm guessing it's because everybody is at home crafting right now. So now that I have my black checkered squares, I'm going in and I'm adding in just some touches of white, and just begin to kind of touch some of those little edges up, and then also filling in with a smaller brush the rest of those black parts. So this is gold paint. It's just in the color gold by Arteza Craft Company, and it's what I use to drag the gold in. So if you studied Mackenzie Childs checks, the courtly check always has a little bit of whites and golds dragged into their checks. And so to do that, you're just going to take your brush and you're going to dab one side of the brush with a bit of gold and the other side with a little bit of white or black, whichever square that you're coloring in. That's what I have found so far to kind of give it that look. Now, I am still learning, and in fact, I am taking some of those beginner acrylic classes and on Skillshare, which is super exciting. You guys are going to definitely have to try some of those, but it's such a lesson in patience, and I guess I'm just so excited to learn this new skill with the acrylic painting. I have painted with oils before, but I've never tried my hand really at acrylics. So I thought this was super fun and fabulous, and it's very forgiving as well. So I also picked up this DECOR Premium Pro pen at Michael's, and it's just a gold leafing metallic pen. That's giving me a little bit more control over doing that gold edging. So Mackenzie Childs actually does a gold edging on their plate, so I love that. So here is how everything is going to look. I'm adding this beautiful charger that I also hand painted, and I'm going to add in the Dollar Tree sunflower dish. Now, my inspiration came from this high-end decor store that was selling sunflower plates that had this black background, and they were $25 a plate, and we customized and made our own for only $1 plus your paint supplies. Here's also that little Dollar Tree. This is more of a dish towel, but I popped a napkin ring that I DIY'd, and then if you tuck the ends under, you have a really beautiful napkin place setting. Now, for this Dollar Tree DIY, I have to share with you guys an amazing little table topper storage basket idea. So you're going to take 2 of the Dollar Tree paper towel holders, and then 2 of the little wire baskets that you can find in their organizing section, and then you're going to need 8 zip ties total. So I'm going to take and I'm going to line the basket up and just zip tie one end and then the other end. And that way I know that my basket is on straight. And then the next thing I want to do is trim off the ends of the zip tie and then begin to zip tie the other part of the paper towel holder. Now, you guys, this is such a fun and fabulous idea if you need an easy little storage container that's like a 2-tiered storage container. This would be great for fruit, table toppers, crafts. What I'm going to use it for is to hold some silverware on my outdoor table. We had a little get together over the weekend and I really needed some ways to add storage to the top of my table without taking up a lot of room. Now for this top part, again, you want to make sure your basket is lined up. I did have to go back in and redo the zip ties on the top because it wasn't quite lined up all the way. So try not to get frustrated. Make sure you get them lined up, and then once you have them on, it is really actually a really sturdy little creation. The other thing is I wouldn't put a ton of weight in the top basket. Just a little FYI, it's sturdy, but it tended to kind of rock back and forth just a tiny bit. You know, if you had something like really heavy in it, I'll put your heavier stuff on the bottom. Anyway, now I'm going to take some Rust-Oleum 2X spray paint in the black, and I'm just going to give the entire thing a coat of spray paint. That way my little paper towel holders are a little bit more cohesive and less paper towel holder looking, and it matches the cute little basket. Okay, so here is how it looked with some of my faux muffins popped in here. Now you would want to put a basket liner down if you were going to put actual real food. And then I also just popped in like some little pretty napkins and some silverware. And you guys, this is such a fun and easy way to create storage in a small space. You could also put this on a vanity table. This would be amazing for a craft room. You could even put like some little storage organizers on the side. Really, the sky is the limit. You guys get totally creative with this. Have fun and go for it. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all how to make an amazing, beautiful solar-powered chandelier. So we're going to take a Dollar Tree wire wreath form and then a Dollar Tree splatter screen and remove the handle. You may want to wear gloves to do that. You're going to poke holes in 4 places around the splatter screen and then take some zip ties and run those through the second rung of the inside of your wire wreath form. The next thing I'm going to do is take some of these garden gate chandeliers and zip tie it to the wreath form. Now I did turn my wreath form upside down. That made it a lot easier for me to do, and it also concealed my zip ties. And you're going to zip tie the garden gate to the outside rung of the wire wreath form. I hope that makes sense. You guys can kind of see the visual of what I'm doing. Now I attached the second garden gate, and then I'm just going to use a couple more zip ties and zip tie that to the wire wreath form. It didn't fit perfectly, but that little end piece I just kind of overlapped. And I did on this second piece remove those little slats at the very end of the garden gate. So have fun with it, get creative. Again, I do recommend using gloves when you're working with the splatter screen in the beginning. I did find that out the hard way and kind of nicked my hand on the top there. But you guys, this is going to turn out so amazing. It's probably one of my most favorite DIYs I have ever done. And I did get this idea from one of our Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook group members. I saw somebody post something similar. It was a garden chandelier and they used these little gates. Now, I don't know that it was the same, but it piqued my interest and just got my wheels turning. So I thought I would try to create something on my own here. And it was actually really sturdy, as you guys can tell. So I flipped it over, and now it's time to add the little solar chandelier part, or the little solar part. So I'm going to take some of the Dollar Tree little solar things, and I'm going to remove the bottom part of it. And then I'm going to take my little box cutter, and I'm going to add just a giant hole. So you want to make the hole large enough to fit down, or for the solar piece to fit down into the chandelier. Now, again, be careful with this part. This needs to be done by an adult only, and those little prongs down there do get kind of sharp, so just be really careful on this part, okay? I just wanted to leave you guys a little forewarning there. Okay, so now that I have that all finished, I did pull the little solar pieces back out, and then I decided to make it a little bit more glam and fabulous. You guys know me, I love to go extra and over the top, so I'm taking this beautiful rose gold kind of bronze spray paint, and I gave it 2 coats of spray paint. The next thing I wanted to do was take one of these Dollar Tree garden chains and add that so I can hang my garden chandelier, and I'm super excited. We have been working on our patio, and I can't wait to reveal it to you guys, that this is going to go out on my patio. In fact, I actually might make 2. Now I'm taking some of these little Dollar Tree greenery leaf garlands, and I used 4, and I just kind of layered them on top of each other. And then just using some Dollar Tree wire, I took the wire and attached it to the wreath form part. Little side note here, I will tell you guys to add your chain last. I kind of learned that the hard way as well. But again, I was just kind of going with the flow and creating this, and trial and error, so you guys get to see the finished product. You don't always see some of the things that I mess up on. Okay, so here is how it turned out. What do you guys think? Oh my goodness. Okay, so I do have this just kind of hanging in my studio right now, but here is how it looked kind of hanging outside on my front part and on a little tree. We are still doing construction on our patio, but I will update you guys and share with you guys what it looks like on the patio. But I am so crushing on this. I hope you guys are inspired. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all how to make a late summer, early fall hula hoop pool noodle wreath. Okay, so you're going to take a hula hoop from the Dollar Tree and a pool noodle, and I used my box cutter, just cut a strip down the center, and then actually I did use 2 pool noodles, actually about a pool noodle and a half, and I just ran those down the entire hula hoop, and that created a really large wreath form. And I'm talking like pretty oversized. If you guys like a really, dramatic large wreath form, I wrapped it in burlap, and now I'm going to share with you guys how I took and made this into a late summer kind of early fall wreath. Okay, so from our local Red Racks, actually it's about 45 minutes north of us, but it's a really great thrift store, I found this beautiful leaf garland, and it's not even a full garland, it's just kind of a leaf greenery piece, like leaf greenery piece is what I'm trying to say. I took this and I just zip tied it to one side of my pool noodle / hula hoop burlap wreath base. You guys could also do this to a grapevine wreath base. The next thing I did after I zip tied in 3 places the leaf garland, I just poked the Dollar Tree sunflowers. I used 3 bundles and I pushed them into the wreath base, and you can actually push them in, like they'll fit directly in. The last time I did this, I zip tied my florals. This is going to go inside, so no worries there. Now you might want to zip tie it or attach it with ribbon if it is going to go outside and you're going to have a lot of windy weather. But I also use some of these Dollar Tree pretty mini mums, and then some of the little Dollar Tree daisies, and these are kind of the ones that have like the burlap in them. The next thing I want to do is make a really cute little ribbon. So I'm just going to take and make a quick Olivia bow. So you just take the ribbon and loop it over on itself. Now I found this adorable sunflower ribbon at Hobby Lobby. It's here 2021. So check your local Hobby Lobby for this ribbon, or grab some online or at whatever craft store you love, or you could even use some buffalo check, whatever floats your boat, you guys go for it. Okay, so once I had the ribbon looped over on itself, I just found the center of the ribbon, and then I'm taking this zip tie and I'm going to zip tie my little bow together. You could also use a pipe cleaner or some floral wire. Anything will work really, just to keep that ribbon on there. Now the next thing I want to do is just kind of gently fluff my loops out, and I do usually fluff my loops like multiple times. So the first time I'll kind of fan it all out once I get the bow made, then I'll pop my bow into my arrangement, and I did zip tie the bow to the little wreath here, and that's going to keep it on there really, really well. And then I'm going to fluff it again just to see where my loops are at, how big they are, and make sure everything's cohesive and proportionate to my arrangement or floral wreath here. The next thing I did was I just took and cut some tails, and I did hot glue the tails into the center, and then I kind of felt like they needed a little bit more reinforcement, so I did use some smaller ribbon and just kind of tie those tails in. The next thing I'm doing is I'm just kind of accordion style making this little center kind of flowy thing with my tails, and then I did add this burlap bow to the center of this. Now this burlap bow was on my original hula hoop wreath and so I just added that directly to the center, and it's just an Olivia bow, and I fluffed it up, and there you guys have that. Nobody would ever know that this is a pool noodle wreath, and let me tell you, I feel like for the size of this, it's really high end and it's very budget friendly. A couple of bundles of sunflowers, a couple little mums, and a couple of those daisies, along with some leaves. Now Dollar Tree is going to carry some leaf picks that look like this, or you could go to your local craft store, grab some ribbon, have fun with it, get creative. You should be able to do this on a pretty good little budget. And also, if you don't want to use the pool noodle, you can just wrap a hula hoop. I shared that with you guys on a summer wreath as well. So here it is, so fun and absolutely fabulous on a total budget. This next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to make a super easy, super cheap little toilet paper pumpkin. So I'm taking this Dollar Tree, it was a felt table covering that I found. It's actually during the spring season, but hey, you guys grab any scrap fabric that you have on hand. Maybe you have a cute shirt that has a stain on it. You could just cut out the back of it, but pretty much any fabric square will fit. So you're just going to wrap your fabric on top of your toilet paper roll, and then I'm using my scissors to just kind of push the excess fabric down into the toilet paper roll. That way it stays in there nice and tight. Now I decided it would be cute to add in this little burlap string to kind of give it some dimension. And then for the stem, I'm just using one of the little Dollar Tree sponge brushes. It's the little round one you can use to make polka dots with paint, but it also works great to make toilet paper pumpkins. And hey, once you're done with this, I don't think anybody's gonna know that this is a roll of toilet paper. And these are so fast and easy to make. So maybe you don't have a lot of time to craft, and maybe you don't have a lot of money, but maybe you have toilet paper on hand. And then hey, if you're in a pinch and you're completely out of toilet paper, keep a couple of these on hand in your bathroom and you'll be set to go. Now I'm making a little burlap bow. This is like a triple loop bow. You just tie it like you'd be tying your shoelaces. I'm going to hot glue it right underneath that little stem, and then I'm adding in some of these little sunflower stickers and some cute little leaves, and then there you have that, you guys. So easy, fabulous, on a budget, and these are genius. I've never tried these before, and I don't know why, because now I'm completely hooked. So I decided to go ahead and do a yellow buffalo check plaid one as well. I had this yellow fabric left over from a couple of seasons back, and so again I'm just taking the fabric, and it's a square piece of fabric a little bit larger than your toilet paper roll, and then you're just going to poke your extra fabric into the center with your scissors. Be careful. And then again I'm wrapping some of this burlap twine around it just to give it some dimension and texture. This is totally optional. You guys really don't have to do this, but it also helps your fabric stay on even better. Oh my goodness, these are so fun. I really need to get some buffalo check plaid fabric in the black and white. I think that would be so adorable. Again, I'm using one of the little sponge brushes for my stem and adding some leaves. And here is how they turned out. I just popped them in with some white and orange velvet pumpkins, again from Dollar Tree, my little sunflower DIY pillow, and that cute little blanket I told you guys about at Target. It's kind of in this like muted yellow color. It's so beautiful. I'm hooked on it. I'm probably going to sneak back and buy another one. I just love it. And it's really cuddly too. Now I don't know how well it's going to hold up. I haven't bought a blanket like this really before or at Target, so I'll let you guys. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take 2 sets of the Dollar Tree cookie sheets and some of this Waverly white chalk paint. You'll also need some scissors, a piece of paper, and a Sharpie marker or some type of pen or marker that you can trace out a petal. What I want to do is make a really pretty shabby chic kind of 10 looking flower. So I'm going to go ahead and take and cut the petal out to give myself a template. Now I'm going to line this up on my cookie sheet and just begin to trace out the template. I originally saw this idea on this Shabby Tree Facebook page. She has the most adorable stuff. You'll have to check her out. And I'm going to go ahead now and cut the little petals out. So I ended up using 3 of the Dollar Tree cookie sheets, and I was able to get 3 petals per cookie sheet. But you guys could customize this to suit whatever size that you wanted to do, and these would be really fun to do like a collage of them. I'm making this for my studio, so I really just needed one, but I'm going to go ahead and continue to trace these out and cut them out. The next thing I want to do is take this Chicken of the Sea can, and I'm going to trace out a center for my flower. I thought this was going to be big enough, but then I realized I really wanted a little bit bigger of a center to attach my petals to, which was just fine. I decided to go ahead and take this ribbon roll and trace another center part. Just have fun and play with it. You guys could also use a bowl for this, and just go ahead and cut this out with your scissors, and that's going to create your centerpiece that you're going to glue all your pretty petals to. Now I'm going to use the 2X Rust-Oleum spray paint in a matte ultra white, and I'm just going to give them a nice coating. I did this outside, and I probably maybe should have taped these down because they kept kind of flopping off. It was raining off and on, so I had to run out and find time in between the rain showers, and I did get a couple of petals even that got a tiny bit of water on them. I thought it was done raining, but I think that the trees overhead may have got me. So anyway, now I'm just taking my hot glue gun, and I'm going to go ahead and add some hot glue and begin to glue each petal on. Now, I've had a lot of questions about my pink glue gun. I love it. I have it linked in my Amazon store. What I love about it, it's drip free, you guys. It saves so much glue. So definitely, if you need a new glue gun, check it out. I think it was about $18 to $20. So now I'm just going to go ahead and take the end of that ribbon roll, and I'm going to reinforce the center piece of my little flower here. So you can see that this is the back side of my flower, which is where the marker parts are. And so I'm just using the cardboard to reinforce it. The foil was a little bit flimsy, so you guys could use a pizza box or whatever cardboard cereal box you may have laying around to reinforce the back part of it. Or you could just go as is. Now I decided it needed a little bit of dimension just to kind of bring it to life. So I'm taking some of this Waverly wax, and you could use really any color that you wanted to, but again, I wanted this to appear kind of rustic and shabby chic. But I'm just going to go ahead and take the Waverly wax and begin to run it along my little sunflower here. And this is super easy. If you get too much wax, it easily rubs right off, and a little bit goes a long way with the wax. And all you have to do is just take an old cloth or a towel to apply it. And now I decided to go back in with a little bit more chalk paint to give it some dimension. The spray paint was okay, but just one coat didn't seem to give it as nice of a coverage as I was hoping for. And now I'm using that little center part that I had messed up on. I decided to put that in the centerpiece to also give it some dimension. And you guys could really have fun with this. I'm probably going to go back in even and create some more petals for this. Now I'm going in again with some more of the wax and then overlaying that with chalk paint. It's really a nice thing to do to give it more of a vintage feel, and to also make it look just a little bit more high end, to add lots and lots of pretty colors, or as you can see, just dimensional colors, I guess is what I meant to say. But you guys could really get crazy with this and make beautiful, beautiful colors. These would be great to decorate a little girl's room, or your garden shed, or your she shed, or if you're like me, your crafting area, or you could put these in your living room. You could really spend some time on them and make them look really beautiful. Any little spot that you need a beautiful bright touch of a sunflower sunflower. And here it is, popped into my little crafting studio. I think it is oh so fabulous and Dollar Tree DIY. I'm going to share with you how you can take some of those Dollar Tree wooden boxes. They're kind of like those little crates, and they are the perfect size to make a cute little fall centerpiece. So for this DIY, I used 3, but I have used anywhere from 4 to 6 to 8. All you have to do is hot glue them together for whatever size centerpiece you want to create. The next thing I did once my hot gluing was done was I just took some of this antique wax. It's by Waverly. It's great. Gosh, I have used this same bucket of wax for probably maybe 2 to 3 years. I know I've never bought a new one, I don't think. And as long as you guys have been watching me craft on YouTube and Facebook, I've had the same thing of wax. So a little bit goes a long way. I just applied it with a sponge brush from the Dollar Tree, and then I wiped off some of the excess with this little paper towel. Now I'm also using some pool noodle to pop down inside of here. I actually grabbed this idea from my sweet friend Megan over at Glue Guns and Roses. If you have not checked her out, it's Glue Guns and Roses on YouTube, and she has got some really amazing DIYs, and she's just a cool cat, so check her out. But I added in some little Dollar Tree moss, and then the pool noodle will act as your styrofoam. And I'm sure if you guys are like me, I have some pool noodles that have been out in the yard that Benji Bear, my puppy dog, got to and pretty much destroyed. So I was like, hey, I can use those for crafting. And it's also not a bad idea to grab some so you guys can use that for Christmas crafting. But anyway, I digress. But I am adding now some of this lamb's ear into my little planter box, and I just keep going with it. I keep trying to do neutral fall decor. So if you guys are watching the beginning of my DIYs, you'll see I do a lot of neutrals. So if you love neutrals, go with that. But if you like fall traditional, or you just can't stop decorating and adding things like me, just go ahead and keep adding things. So I thought, hey, I need some pops of color. This candle had some color in it, so I decided to add more fall leaves, and then some berries and pomegranates, and yeah, it just keeps going. And that's just kind of how I craft. But listen, my ideas as always are just kind of like a template for you all to take and add your own spin on it, and I hope it inspires you to create something fun for your home on a budget. I think Dollar Tree is such a great spot for grabbing some cute little fall goodies, or Christmas goodies. Everything is really pretty budget friendly. And then if you have things in your craft stash, you can repurpose and reuse from last season, even better. And then I looked at this and I thought, well, it needs some, maple leaf colors in here. So I'm stuffing in more leaves and just really making it look really full. And in my opinion, this looks really pretty nice. Now, it kind of gets lost, I'm telling you, with this garland that's already on here. I probably should have showed it off to you guys like on a little table on its own, but it's really beautiful. It's really blooming. I think it would be a beautiful centerpiece. When I show you guys the ends of my DIYs, I just try to make them all cohesive and to match. And there's my fall Christmas tree. You guys are gonna have to go back. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all how to make a super adorable garden table using 4 Dollar Tree garden planters and a Dollar Tree pizza pan. I'm starting out with this E6000 glue, and I just flipped my garden planter over, and on the bottom part of the garden planter, I'm going to dot and rim around the garden planter with the E6000 glue. You want to leave a space around where the E6000 glue is on the edge to also add in some hot glue. The E6000 glue is a permanent hold, and then the hot glue is a temporary hold to kind of help the glue hold on there. And I'm also going to add some nautical rope around the edge of the planter, so it doesn't really quite matter if there's a little bit of glue around the edges. And then I'm just going to pop that second garden planter around on top of that. Now the next step is to repeat this process around the edge of the next part of the garden planter. So I'm adding E6000 glue and then hot glue. So you're going to repeat the gluing process as you stack your planters until you get to the very top, and you're going to add the E6000 glue and the hot glue, and then you can pop your pizza pan onto the top, and you can use your finger or a towel or a tissue to wipe off any excess glue. And you are going to add some nautical rope around the edges of your gluey spaces, and that's going to kind of hide any of your gluey work. The next step for me was to take a can of spray paint, and I just used like a metallic silver spray paint, and I do suggest you use Rust-Oleum 2X spray paint. Now I'm just using what I have on hand, but that for me is the best spray paint out there. It does not chip as much, and it just has a really great hold, but I used the spray paint that I had on hand, which is metallic silver, and coated this entire thing, even the pizza pan, because I wanted to all be one color with this silver color. Now I'm going to use this actually as an indoor garden planter in my little crafting studio. I recently redid it, and the walls are like a white and gray, and so I thought the gray would be perfect as an accent color for a little side table. Now I'm taking some of the Dollar Tree nautical rope, and I'm just going around the little seams of my table, and this is going to also give it a little bit of extra protection, kind of a foundation. So now I'm just using hot glue, and I'm adding a rim of hot glue where the seam is, and then just hot gluing my little nautical rope on here. Now I was actually hoping that in my craft stash I had the white colored nautical rope, but I had the brown colored nautical rope, and I actually ended up being happier with that in the end. So use what you have on hand, get creative, and go for it. And so you guys, this table cost me about $6 plus the cost of some spray paint, and I was super excited with how it ended up turning out. How fun and fabulous on a budget. And here is how it's looking after I had it all completed and had everything set up. I did end up popping this little charger. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and I do believe they have these striped chargers available. And this is just a little striped pillow that I had left over from last season. I thought it felt kind of festive and crisp. As I began to look forward to a new season of decorating, I liked to use kind of some Paris-inspired black and white stripes. I thought that looked perfect on top of DIY. We're going to create a splatter screen pumpkin. Now my Dollar Tree only had 2 splatter screens, so I picked up this wire mesh round circular. I think it's a topper to keep flies out maybe. Anyway, I had to unscrew the little thing from the side, and now I'm just going to take each one of the handles from the splatter screen and bend them backward. Now the way I found to do this was to take some wire and just wire these first 2 pieces together while they were standing up, because you want your pumpkin to stand up. Now if you don't want your pumpkin to stand up, you can always just remove the little splatter screen handles and you could hang this. Now I'm adding that last little screen. You can see there's still that hole in it, but don't worry, we're going to cover that hole. I'm using Dollar Tree floral wire, and I'm just wiring the center part together. Now comes the fun part. I decided to add deco mesh to this. You could always just paint your splatter screen pumpkin with some orange paint. That would totally work too. I was fresh out of orange paint and I had this deco mesh I needed to use up, so I'm taking and cutting several pipe cleaners in half, and then I'm going to pipe cleaner the top part of the splatter screen and then the bottom part as well, fairly close to the edge, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the deco mesh, and I ended up using 4 rolls of Dollar Tree deco mesh, and you're going to take the deco mesh and just center it in between each one of your pipe cleaners and tie it together 2 times. That's going to be on there really nice, and then pull it a little bit tight, not super tight, but just so it lays flush against your splatter screen, and then you can flip it over and run it down the front. So as you can see, I'm tying everything in the back. That way the front of our pumpkin is clean from any of our pipe cleaners. So you're just going to wrap it around and then again center it on top of that pipe cleaner and just crisscross the pipe cleaner twice, and it is on there. This is so easy, you guys. Oh my goodness, you're gonna have so much fun with this one. So I'm winding the deco mesh around this twice. That way it covers the little splatter screen. And then I'm moving about 1 inch away from my last bit of ties, and I'm beginning to tie again. So you can just center your ties about 1 inch apart as you go down the splatter screen. This does not have to be perfect, you guys. Just take a deep breath and have fun with this one, and then you'll just take that deco mesh and continue to wind it around. And if you didn't really have pipe cleaners, you could also use some floral wire. That would work super great, and you don't necessarily even have to go 1 inch apart. I was really trying to be very careful with my mesh because I only had 4 rolls of the pumpkin color and I did not want to run out. So as you can see, I'm gathering it again, and I'm just centering the mesh on top of the pipe cleaner. You twist the pipe cleaner twice, and voila, you can keep going with this. Now the Dollar Tree deco mesh, for some reason, it doesn't come all the way on one roll, so you could see that the end of the roll kind of started right there, or the end of the piece. But here's how it should look. It's just tied on the front, and then you're going to see your work on the back. Again, here's my ties about 1 inch apart, and then I'm beginning to add more ties to kind of space about another 1 inch apart. So you're going to continue to do this method where you tie the deco mesh to the back of your splatter screen and then just wind it around the front. So I'm tying it at the bottom and I'm tying it at the top. And when I say tie, I'm just taking those pipe cleaners and crisscrossing them over, just like you would tie up a loaf of bread, where you just kind of twist it together. So there's no fancy secret to this. Again, see, you can just see that I'm pulling the mesh down and then winding it back up and tying it at the base and tying it at the top. And those ties will help your deco mesh not move to side, especially if you're going to be putting this outside, or if you're going to make this into a hanging wreath, because at the end of this, you guys are going to be so wowed. This is probably one of my favorite projects I have ever done. I've been wanting to do one of those pumpkin wreaths, but our Dollar Tree has not got in any of the pumpkin wire wreath forms, and this whole time I've been hoping to find one. I keep thinking, what if I used the splatter screens to create kind of a setting pumpkin wreath? So that's how this is going to turn out. And again, you guys can modify this by taking the handles off and just hanging it from your door. But again, I'm just continuing to loop the mesh over on itself. The other thing that you might want to keep an eye out for, I just always grab rolls of mesh, but Dollar Tree has several different colors of orange. So luckily I had 3 of the same kind and only 1 was different. So here's how my pumpkin looks after I have all my mesh tied on. And then I didn't cut my ties. I left them on because I knew I wanted to drape some Dollar Tree ribbon down the front. This is just the polka dot ribbon, and I cut it about half the length of my pumpkin. You can always make it longer or shorter, but I am going to put a big bow at the top. Now I'm cutting a triangle upwards at the end of my ribbon. That's just a little extra special step that's going to give it that boutique finish. So you just cut that little triangle up, and then I'm taking some deco mesh roping. This step is totally optional and you're really not even going to see that much of it, but it does give a little bit of dimension. And if you always wondered what to do with this, here's a fun little way to use it, is just to add it into some of your wreaths or your florals. Again, just to give it a little bit of dimension, and it does look kind of funny right here like this, but we're going to make a big, beautiful bow. So I have a big bow video for you. You can also use your easy bow maker if you have one, or if you know how to hand tie a bow. The easy bow maker is a lifesaver for my fingers though. So I just popped a pipe cleaner in, and then I'm using the Dollar Tree plaid ribbon, and I'm going to make my bow 6 inches across from the center. So you just pop your ribbon in, you measure 6 inches on one side and 6 inches on the other. Honestly, this is the easiest bow I've ever made. I honestly think it's even easier than my Olivia bows, and so many of you all love my Olivia bow. I'll link that bow video down below. It's a Christmas video, but it will work for fall. So, and that's for if you guys don't have the bow maker. Now I'm also adding in this beautiful pumpkin ribbon. I did find this on Amazon, but Dollar Tree has been killing it this year with their ribbon choices. I did want to make this just a little bit extra special with this ribbon, so I popped that one in next. Again, 6 inches across on either side, and then take your scissors and cut upward to give it that boutique finish. Now this pretty pumpkin ribbon came from Michael's. Again, it's kind of that pretty specialty ribbon. I wanted to mix in this ribbon because it's going to match the Dollar Tree plaid ribbon back behind there, and you're just going to twist it to make sure your ribbon pieces are standing out really nice and pretty. And there's also a little an end piece on the bow maker that you can put your spool of ribbon on. I always get so excited when I'm making my bows, I forget to put my spool of ribbon on there. I know some of you guys even comment and tell me to use it, and I just honestly totally forget. Now I did splurge when the Mackenzie Childs barn sale happened, and I bought some of their gorgeous ribbon, and let me tell you, this ribbon is so beautiful and well made. It was definitely worth that extra splurge. So this one I'm just going 5 inches across on either side, and I chose it to do as the third piece of ribbon because I really want it to show off. And you guys know I've been crushing on Mackenzie Childs checks, and this is just so pretty. And if you guys can see on one side, it's lined with gold. Oh my goodness, this ribbon is so high quality, and it really makes a difference for sure. But you could also use buffalo check if that's what you have on hand. No worries at all. Okay, so now I'm just going to add in my pumpkin ribbon as the last little straw, and this one I made the smallest loop. It's only about 4 inches across on either side. And then once I have that done, I am just going to pop it off and pipe cleaner the whole thing together. Easy peasy. And then the best part is oh my goodness, you guys, my favorite part ever is fluffing the bows. Fluffing up your bow is really where you're going to have the magic happen. So you take your pipe cleaner, wrap it around the back first, and it's okay if you're going to smash it down a little bit here, but you want to get it really tightly on here, but not so tight that you break your pipe cleaner, because I've done that before too. Now see how I'm pulling the loops out on my bow and fluffing them and making them puffy? Don't forget to do that. Don't let your bow just sit there limp without any fluffing. It really needs some TLC after it's been through all of that. And if you use wired ribbon, that's going to make it stand up even better. Now I'm just going to take that pipe cleaner that was on the back of the bow, and I'm going to attach it to the top of my pumpkin, just the very top loop. And again, more fluffing. You guys know I am going to fluff until they're so puffy and they look really boutique high end. on a budget, of course. The next thing I want to do is add some of those Dollar Tree leaves. So they have those burlap leaves, and I'm just going to pop those in. I didn't even add hot glue because they just set really easily down into the deco mesh. So I added orange leaves, one on either side, and then I'm adding the brown leaves, one on either side. And again, all the leaves are from Dollar Tree. And then you guys know me, I was poking around and I also decided to add in some pretty raffia just to give it that fall vibe. Dollar Tree carries raffia, so fun. And then of course I had to add some glam little leaves to either side, and here is the finished product. And oh my goodness, you guys, I am so over the moon and in love with how this turned out. I think it looks so high end. I've seen these similar to these selling on Etsy for $100 or more, and we created this on such a small budget. And you guys definitely just use whatever you have on hand. It's kind of even how I dreamt up the idea. You guys know me, I really like to repurpose and reuse, and I'm trying to challenge myself to use everything I have in my craft stash, which I have a lot right now. So we're gonna have a lot of fun decorating for fall. Dollar Tree DIY project, I want to share with you all how to create an amazing side table using some of these Dollar Tree buckets. So I'm going to take the first bucket and remove the handles, and then in fact I did end up removing all of the handles, and I'm going to stack that first bucket on top of the other. So you want to flip your first bucket over, add some hot glue, and then add the next bucket on top of that, and that is going to be your first part of your table. The next thing that you want to do is you want to take some really nice nautical rope, and you guys can pick this up at Dollar Tree or on Amazon. I think you get a lot bigger pack on Amazon, but you're just going to take your hot glue gun and run your hot glue gun and begin to add the nautical rope. Now for this table, I want to create a really cute boho chic kind of summer table. So I do like to add in a little bit of coastal decor, and especially when it comes to my patio. Now this ended up being quite a bit of work just because it was a bit tedious gluing the nautical rope on. But first off, I started cutting it on my first loop. You guys can see I was cutting the strands, and I decided that that wasn't the best way. So really just take your nautical rope, hot glue it, and wrap it on. And I will also give you guys a little tip if you're going to do this project, is to kind of push your nautical rope down on top of the piece underneath it. That way you don't have any gaps. Now Dollar Tree also does carry these buckets in white, but I had picked up several in pink, and so I am just covering this. Now you guys know me, I love the pink, and I do have some pink buckets left, but for this project, I did just want to go ahead and use what I had on hand and create this really amazing little table. Now, I will also tell you guys you need to have quite a bit of hot glue on hand, and I did end up using about 15 to 18 of these nautical rope strands from Dollar Tree, so you're going to need quite a few. Now, our Dollar Tree had a ton of this, and I mean tons and tons and tons of it. So if you guys don't have tons of it and you want to do this project, you may again want to order it off Amazon. I'll try to find some and link some in my Amazon store, but if you guys hit the jackpot and are able to get a couple of these, you might want to have fun with this project. Now, putting this next part of the table on was a little bit tricky, and I'll tell you why. Because you need to go all the way up to the lip of the second table and then kind of just scoochy it on and use that piece of rope to kind of attach it on. The other thing I want to let you guys know is this table was amazingly sturdy. I was absolutely shocked, and I really feel inspired. Like this would be something you would see on Pottery Barn or Anthropology for so much. When I look at the Pottery Barn website, it is so expensive, and I feel like we DIY'd this on a total budget, $3 for the buckets. Now, you might want to throw in a couple bucks for the hot glue. It did take quite a bit of hot glue, but then I just took one of the little chargers from Dollar Tree. I painted it kind of a beige color, and then voila, we have this fabulous boho chic kind of coastal vibe table on a total budget. I believe it cost me $20 total to do, And I will suggest you guys pick up quite a bit of nautical rope if you are going to do this. I would say maybe even 15 to 20 bundles of it if you have the opportunity to find that. Or again, you could just pop on Amazon. I know a lot of DIYers just order their nautical rope off of Amazon if they're going to be doing a large project like this. But now I have a new summer table for my living room, and I am
so thank you all so much for joining me on another fun and fabulous crafty decor adventure. It is a true blessing and honor to have you all here. If you all are new, welcome. I'm Olivia's romantic home. I love to share with y'all how you can make your homes boutique gorgeous on a budget. I truly believe that y'all don't have to break the bank to have a fabulous, amazing home. If you love to craft and decorate on a budget, pop over to my YouTube channel. So you're on this YouTube video, but go into my channel and look at some of the playlists that I put together for you with my crafting and decorating. Each playlist is organized by Dollar Tree DIYs, by different seasonal decor, whether it be fall and Halloween, Christmas, Easter, and just some organizing and cleaning as well. But if you guys love just loving on your home and making cute little things for your home, you're going to love some of these videos. They're easy, they're budget friendly, and you guys can kind of binge watch them because I like to put compilations of a bunch of the different crafts together. So thank you guys again for being here. I'm hugging all of your hearts so tight. Remember, give yourselves grace. This is a life journey. Everybody's on it. We all have ups and downs, and just don't give up on yourself. I can't wait for our next video. Until then, remember, be kind to yourselves and be kind to one another. Talk to you guys very soon. Bye-bye.